Welcome to the 2022 Makers of Change Assistive Technology Challenge. We have lots of details to share, so let's get to it. I'm David and I work in the fundraising department of Southwest Human Development.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm the occupational therapist here at the Southwest Human Development Adapt Shop, and that's exactly where we are right now. We're at the Adapt Shop, where we have our 3D printers and all of our other equipment that we use to make custom fabrications.
This is the 5th year of the Makers of Change Challenge, and each year we challenge high school teams to help us with a solution to benefit the young children who receive services from the Adapt Shop. This year's challenge is going to support a young girl named Reese. We would love to introduce you to Reese, and you'll see some video of her too, but Reese is a 3-year-old who is thriving in many ways. She loves music, but she has some extra needs, and that's where you guys are going to help us out. So she was diagnosed with a brain-based impairment, but she can see light, colors, metallics. She's unable to sit up independently. Beth, can you share more about what Reese is going?
She can sit up when she's being held, but to sit all by herself is a little bit difficult for her. And she also likes to stand, but the same thing, she needs some help with an adult to help hold her.
And that's really what a lot of this challenge is about. So that's Reese. And she has goals for the future. Her family has needs. They want to help her development and her growth. And the big point that her parents have told us is they want Reese to be able to gain more independence. It's super important as she gets bigger that she can be independent, sitting on her own and enjoying herself while her parents are able to take care of her other needs.
So Reese currently has a couple pieces of adaptive equipment. The first one that you see in that slide is a chair that we fabricated here at the Adapt Shop. It actually has a bolster in the middle of it to help kind of break up her muscle tone because Reese tends to go into an extra extension pattern. So she's sitting on a bolster, and then we have the tray top table that provides support in the anterior and allows her to have a play surface. So that's her seat. Reese also has a gait trainer that you can see on the right-hand side. It's a commercially made trainer that has a harness that goes around Reese, and then that harness attaches into the gait trainer so that she can take some weightless steps.
So this is what we're gonna ask you to do. We are asking you to design a standing apparatus that allows Reese to be independent from her caregivers while grooving to her favorite tunes. And that's one of the most important things because Reese loves music. She loves to move and dance, isn't that right?
That's right. She likes the Frozen, the hip hop, the whole gamut.
All right, so that's the challenge. Design a standing apparatus. And here are some of the details. After you come up with this great idea, you are going to summarize it with a video, 3 to 5 minute video. We will put these on YouTube for you to share out. That communicates your solution, because if you have a great solution, that's wonderful, but you got to be able to let the judges understand exactly how it works. And then the second deliverable is the poster. So this is all digital. You won't need to print this, but it's a summary of your project. You can see here a few images of winning team posters. There will be a link in the challenge release to view these for reference. And we will also focus one full seminar on how to create your video and poster. So as we are judging solutions, we are gonna have 9 finalists in 3 categories. So this is really important as you start to develop your solutions. We're gonna have awards for level 1, proof of concept, level 2, built design, level 3, built design with forward movement, and then finally, best in show. And so here's some details about that. So proof of concept, what does that mean? Essentially, it is a sketch, a CAD file, a visual representation of your solution. It does not have to be built. You don't have to be able to physically touch it. Level 2 is going to be all of the steps of level 1, as well as actually assembling and building the apparatus so that we could put a child into it. And then level 3 is that same built design. It's the proof of concept, but it also incorporates movement. So creating a standing apparatus is going to be a big challenge, but adding forward movement into it is going to be another step. And then finally, best in show. So we are going to have one award for the best concept. And this could come from level 1. If you have a great idea, you only put it on paper, you can still win Best in Show. What we're looking for here is creativity and also originality and the most promise that this is a solution that will be able to support Reese and possibly other children that we run across in the future. Those are the levels. You want to know how you're being judged, so I'll highlight a couple of the items here. Obviously, we're going to judge you on the overall summary that you provide, the poster, the video, and then look at number 4. This is the line item budget. So obviously a solution that you come up with that might cost $1,000 or tens of thousands of dollars is great. I'm sure it will be an engineering marvel, but it won't be practical for us as a nonprofit to implement with many, many children. So ideally, your solutions are $100 or less for full points. You can go over for partial points. We'll also ask you to identify which team member took on which tasks, and then the overall use of creativity. And number 7
is the bonus. If you create a TikTok video, that's gonna be super cool.
That's bonus points for you. So totally optional, but we would love for you to share your solutions far and wide, and a little TikTok video would certainly help us do that. So level 2 judging rubric. You are gonna be judged on every single piece of level 1, as well as these items. But since you're going from paper to an actual physical product, there's a couple of pieces here that you'll want to address. So Beth, can you share a little bit about these?
Sure, so we're looking at how the child is going to experience the device. Is it safe for them? Is it comfortable for them? Are they able to stand upright safely? And we're also looking if it's easy for the parents to use. Can they get the child in and out without too much trouble? Can they take it up and down the stairs? Can they take it in and out of the house? How heavy it is? All of those things are important for us to make sure that it's usable for the family. Safety, we're dealing with kids that are 1 to 3 years old most likely, so we need to make sure that all wires or any sharp edges are taken care of. We don't want to have anything out for someone to get tangled up in. And functionality, we want to make sure that this holds Reese upright in a good position. Her head is not falling, her body is not going sideways. We want her to be upright and in a good position.
That it's supporting her goals, her physical therapy goals. That's the whole point of all of this. Having a beautiful, fun device that doesn't help her grow,
not really gonna work.
Not really getting there. So level 3 is gonna be all of level 1, all of level 2, and then a couple of additional things. So earlier when we mentioned level 3, we said it's the standing apparatus with movement. Beth, can you share more about what that means?
We're not talking necessarily about like side to side weight shifting movement. For this one, we're actually looking for a forward locomotion. So we're looking to see if Reese is able to take some steps while she's supported in the device and move forward across the ground.
Yeah, and that's great. You know, moving forward, obviously you have different surfaces in a household. Can you share like a little bit about this one for the terrain?
Sure, so obvious things that you think about, can this go over grass? Can it go over tile? How does it work on carpet? But also thinking about doorways. Is it narrow enough that it can fit through a doorway? When it goes over a threshold, does it tip? All of those things are important to make sure that it's gonna work well for Reese.
And then this last point, like we mentioned, Reese loves music. So this is a little bit of a bonus too. If your build can offer the opportunity to address the movement while using music as a motivating factor for Reese, again, it's fun, but it's gonna help her with her therapeutic goals and make her want to participate in them. So you guys have a big task at hand, but we want you to know that we want to provide support. So you're gonna have a lot of different opportunities. The first one here is going to be a challenge Q&A with occupational therapists such as
myself,
such as Beth, as well as other members of the committee who help run this and ASU. And then we'll also have a virtual video and poster overview. So this is gonna be another little training to provide opportunities for you to understand exactly how to communicate your solutions to the judges. And then lastly, professional mentors meeting. This is a really cool opportunity for you to meet a professional working in the field and to get ideas on your solution. So you can bring where you're at, your sketches, where you're at with your video, and link up with a mentor, a business professional, or graduate student to get some advice on the best way to move forward. And lastly, for support, obviously, ask your teacher, ask your colleagues, use your imagination. When we talk about the solution that you're building, this is a prototype. So you do not need to have furniture grade materials. You do not need to spend a lot of money on this. We want to see your idea, and you can certainly put notes in for full production, exactly what materials you would use. If you need access to equipment that may support your solution, let us know. If you need a 3D printer, we certainly have some here, as well as colleagues in the community who might be able to support you. And then lastly, like we hit before, the budget. Keep it in mind.
Hi, I'm Beth again from the Southwest Human Development Adapt Shop, and I'm here today with Jacob, who's our custom fabricator here. And he is going to tell us a little bit about materials and things to think about when you're doing this project.
So one of the most common materials that I like to stick to is 3D printed materials. And you have several to choose from. You have PLA Plus, ABS, and TPU. PLA Plus is really great for high impact stuff that is solid and rigid. ABS is gonna have a little higher temperature, so if you leave it in a hot car, it'll survive in that, but its impact strength isn't as strong. And then TPU is my favorite because it is flexible. So you can have flexible things on support pieces or parts where people are gonna bump into something.
Jacob, just let me stop you. So flexible, this is something that we've designed for someone's head, right? So if sometimes when it's in contact with a person's skin, maybe the flexible would be a better consideration. Where would you use some of the other ones? Like what would be the applications for those?
Hard rigid things. So an example is something like this. We have on this PVC pipe right here, kind of a mock-up of a walker. You could attach this onto it, and so then it's stuck to it. That's something I wouldn't say the flexibility is good for, but so something where you want it rigid and solid, where you don't need it to flex, versus where this is good for, I'd say, wherever this something is touching someone.
Yeah. Good. PVC pipe, tell me about that.
So there's two general kinds of PVC pipe that we work with. There's cheap Schedule 40 PVC pipe, which we can get at Home Depot or any convenience store, and that is really great for prototyping it out. But then if you were to go to the finished product, then I would go to a furniture grade, and that just is when it snaps, or if it does ever break, it doesn't shatter like the other one. But the other one is great for prototyping and getting the idea done. So we use that if I'm like just kind of throwing things together because it's cheaper and easier to use. And then if I go to the final thing when we're giving it to somebody, then we use furniture grade.
How about nuts and bolts? Any advice about different things to use that way?
Sadly, there's no standard out there for bolts and nuts, but I would just say try to keep it one uniform size. I usually stick to 1/4 inch. That's what we use here, but just keep it consistent throughout. I'd say that. And then you can, of course, the length can change and stuff, but just keep it consistent.
Oh, wheels. So that last part of the challenge is more dynamic and we're looking at forward locomotion. So what advice do you have for them about wheels?
I'd say the biggest thing is that there's a lot more than just going forward. There's the ability to, on something like this, right? There's pivot. There is, on this one, there is the brake integrated in. There is tension, so it doesn't move as fast. That's some stuff that as you get into this medical stuff, there's a lot of these little bells and whistles that go with it. You could just do a simple basic wheel that just spins and that'd get you 90% of the way, but that extra 10% is all the little extra bells and whistles like brakes and then the ability to slow it down.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob.
As we close this out, we want you to know that your input is very valuable. So we do have a survey before and after, pre and post event.
If you can do the surveys for pre and post event, you will be entered into a raffle to win some awesome prizes.
And this survey is really important, both for helping us improve your experience year over year, as well as the outcomes for young children like Reese. This is your full challenge timeline. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this Makers Challenge. We are so excited about the opportunity that it's going to bring to Reese. Beth, any final thoughts about the challenge for the students?
Just good luck, use your imagination, and have fun.
And if you have any questions, obviously you can reach out to your instructor or Luann Phillips, and your teachers will have access to all the relevant files and documents. We are excited to see your concepts and builds and are here to support you along the way. Good luck, makers.